Hi, I'm Richard Duffy. I am the SAP Business One Product Evangelist and Sales and Marketing Programs Manager with the SAP Global Small and Mid-Sized Enterprise team. And I'd like to welcome you to Session 2 of our SAP Partner Marketing Catalyst program. In Session 2, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about creating a unique core message for your business. This is really about being able to explain to prospective customers of your business exactly what it is that you do, how you do it, and how it helps them, and doing it in a concise and consistent way that really makes it easy for them to know, like, and trust you. So let's just recap quickly on what we covered in Session 1 and what the action items were at the end of Session 1. So you'll recall, I asked you to go ahead and create your client grid where you identified what were the key characteristics of your ideal target market, and you looked at a number of those ideal customers in your existing customer base, and you determined what were the characteristics of those customers that made them similar that you could then use to go out and find more customers the same as them. I asked you to complete the forms in the workbooks, and hopefully you've done that and you now have a really good basis on which to progress forwards with the rest of the sessions. We also talked about being able to describe the ideal client, because unless you can describe your ideal client in detail in a way that people can understand, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to go ahead and start executing the right tactics, because they might be the right tactics, but for the wrong client. Why is it the wrong client? Well, you didn't even know it was the wrong client. So again, that's why that's very, very important. The next thing I also asked you to do was to start going through that process of interviewing your existing clients and asking them why they chose to do business with you, why they choose to continue doing business with you. What is it about the way you do business that is different, unique, better than the competition? So now that you're armed with all that information and you've also done some profiling of your competition, you'll now be well equipped with all the basic information you need to have, or that you need to know, to enable you to take the next step. And that next step we talked about already was finding the right problem to solve, the right point of differentiation for your organization, or the right opportunity that you can address with your product or service. We talked about those processes that you needed to go through to help you do that. So once you've done that now, you've identified who is your ideal target market. You've identified what it is that makes you different, what it is that is unique about your product, unique about your delivery, unique about the way you do business. Remember, we talked about those things. The next thing you need to do is to really create your core message. So sometimes you may have heard people talk about an elevator pitch. Is this an elevator pitch? Well, yes, it kind of is, but it's so much more than just an elevator pitch. Imagine the power of having everybody in your organization being able to articulate very, very clearly what it is that your company does, how you do it, what the value is that it delivers, and what the value is, more importantly, that it delivers to your ideal target customer. Because that's who you should be articulating this to. You don't need to be explaining what you do to companies that aren't in your target market. Why? Because you don't have anything to offer them, and you don't want to have something to offer them. You want to focus on the people that you have clearly identified that you can make a difference with, that will be profitable for you. So there's really, if you like, 5 things that you need to think about when you're creating your core message for your market. And you need to work all of these things into that core message. The first thing, funnily enough, is who is your target market? Make it very, very easy so that when you're explaining what you do and who you do it for, if I'm in your target market, that I can self-qualify. I understand that you are talking to me. As you can probably tell, I'm a little bit thin when it comes to the hair department. So if you wanted to get my attention and you are selling hair products, okay, if you are selling hair regrowth product, what would you put in your advertising message? You would probably say, "Attention bald men." Okay, and guess what? You've got my attention. So I'm not saying that it has to be something as plain and as in your face as that, but you need to call out, you need to make it very, very clear that you have something to offer me in your core marketing message. The second thing you need to be able to articulate in your core marketing message is, what is the benefit? What is the benefit that I am going to obtain as a result of working with your organization, as a result of purchasing your product? So you need to make that very, very clear. Again, why? You want to be in a position where, again, I can self-qualify. I can say, yes, you are talking to me. Yes, you understand what it is that is my problem. And yes, you have a solution which is going to deliver benefits that I want. The third thing that you really need to think about and work that into your core marketing message is, why do people like me buy from you? Okay, call out for me what it is that's going to make me want to buy from you. Is it, as the example I gave you in session 1, is it because you always turn up when you say you will? Is it because you're the cheapest? Is it because you have some unique way that you do business which people like me have identified is really, really important? So you need to work that into your core marketing statement as well, or your core marketing message. Think about, why do people like me refer other people to you? What is it that you do that makes me want to refer other people to you? What is the value that you provide which makes me say, you know what? I know other people who could benefit from this company's products or services. And why would I want to refer those people to you? And then, if you like, we talk about, what is the one word which sums all of this up? Is it, efficient, effective, cheap, not necessarily the best word in the world, and sometimes it's difficult to think of one word which really sums up everything about your organization. So my challenge to you is, we need to start thinking about, a short way of articulating what that is. And I'm going to give you a very, very specific example that I use that works for me to explain to people what I do and what the benefits and the value is that I deliver, and why people would want to engage with me as a, if you like, in my current context that I'm interacting with you as an SAP marketing coach. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. A great way of going through this process of building your core marketing message is to start thinking about and try to articulate what you do for a living. So imagine you went up to somebody at a party and you were having a conversation with them, and they said, "So what do you do?" And you said, "Well, I implement business accounting software." And they go, "Well, no, okay, yeah, I know what that is." There's no reason for them to want to engage with you in a further discussion. So what you're trying to do is come up with a way of articulating what it is that you do that makes the person who's hearing you explain it go, "Huh, how do you do that?" Give you an example. One of the benefits that your solution might provide is it helps people reduce their days sales outstanding, reduce their accounts receivable. And so you might go up to somebody and you might say to them, "Hi, my name's Richard Duffy. I help small businesses get paid faster." They might go, "Huh, how do you do that?" Because that's one of the challenges that you've determined that small businesses need to solve. Okay? So again, this process, it's about identifying what it is that a prospective customer needs to what the problem is they need to have solved, what's the underlying issue or challenge that they're dealing with, and then get them engaged with you in a discussion about how you're going to help them do that. So if you think about it, there's a couple of really great ways of building this description. And you can see it in the slides off to the side here. What you're trying to do is build an explanation of what you do. Let me give you an example. When people say to me, Richard, what do you do for a living? And I talk to them and I say, I help SAP partners be more successful by implementing a systematic approach to marketing that delivers a stream of well-qualified leads and helps keep their existing customers satisfied. So that's a little bit of a different description to, well, I'm the SAP Business One product evangelist, or I'm the SAP sales and marketing programs manager. Because what am I articulating? I'm articulating what it is that 9 times out of 10 many partners want. They want to implement a process. Well, they don't actually they don't want to implement a process. What they want is they want a stream of well-qualified leads. So that's the problem. I need more leads. And then I'm articulating, how do I do that? By implementing a systematic approach to marketing. And what is the delivery, those well-qualified leads, and what is it that I'm helping them do? Is I'm helping them be more successful. So by combining all of those kinds of things into a description of what I do, 9 times out of 10 what I've found is that usually makes most SAP partners go, gee, well, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that and how you can work with me to help me do that. So what are the key components that you need to have in your statement of what you do for a living? I or we being, and then either you as a person or we as an organization, and then what is the action? I or we help, teach, coach. Okay, I help small businesses turn excess inventory into available cash, for example. And then, so you're also stating your target market. So in my statement, what was my target market? SAP partners. You also need to state what's the benefit that you're going to deliver and then how you do that. So let me go through my example again, see if you can identify each of the components. What is the action that I take? What is the target market that I serve? What is the benefit that that target market gets from working with me? And how do I do it? So, my name's Richard Duffy. I help SAP partners be more successful. I do that by implementing a systematic approach to marketing that delivers a stream of well-qualified leads and helps keep their existing customer base satisfied. So I've identified all of those key components. What I'd like you to do now is press pause and spend some time either thinking about this yourself or talking with other people in your organization about this concept and come up with the description of what it is that you do. What is the benefit or the value that you deliver to your target market? How do you do that? Put that into a description of what it is that you do. Okay, now if you're like many partners, that can be a little bit of a challenging thing to do. It's a different way of thinking about what it is that that you need to explain, what it is that you need to articulate when you're talking to a prospective customer. But again, at the end of the day, think about this. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, today I want to buy an ERP software package. Today I want to go out and buy business intelligence software. They think about a problem that they have that they need to solve. All right? And what they're looking for is somebody to help them solve that. By articulating what you do in this kind of way, it makes it very, very clear to them up front that you're the kind of person that can help them solve the problem they have right now, or you can't. In which case, probably not a heck of a lot that you have to talk to them about. At the end of the day, isn't that really what it's about? It's about making sure you're focused on talking to the right people at the right time about the right things, not spending your time talking to organizations or to, well, they're not even really prospective clients because they'll never buy from you because you're not going to have a compelling value proposition that's going to solve a problem that they particularly have. Hopefully that makes sense. So what do you now need to do? You now need to take all of those things we've talked about and you need to document your strategy. So the first thing, you need to talk about what is it that you do for a living. So let's take that now and let's document out specifically. And each one of these components, by the way, is more than just one sentence. And you can potentially have multiple answers to these questions because you may have identified that you have more than one target market. Now, it's very, very difficult to probably satisfy more than about 2 or 3. So when I start talking about target markets, maybe we're talking about specific industries that you service. Okay? So it's very difficult to have more than about 2 or 3, I would say. So these things can be different for each one of those different target markets. So for example, let's say one of your target markets is high-tech manufacturers. Now the benefit, the problem you solve for them, the value you deliver for them might be different to what you might offer, for example, let's pick a diametrically opposed one, to food processors. Okay, it's going to be a completely different message. So what do you need to do? You need to have a message for each one of those target markets, but then if you are in that situation, you need to have an overall target message for your company. So multiple target markets adds a layer of complexity, but the process is still the same. You have to be able to go up to that particular customer and explain to them by explaining what you do, what is the value, what is the benefit for them in doing business with you. So, like I said, step 1, explaining what you do for a living. Step number 2, you need to explain that or explain how you do that in a unique way. What is it in your process, your software, your approach that makes it unique? So in my particular example of that was I implement a systematic approach to marketing. Okay, that was what I do, which is unique. What is it that you do that's unique? The third step is you need to think about what is your positioning goal. How do you want people to think about you? So, for example, in my case, my positioning goal might be I want to be thought of as the most practical SAP partner marketing expert. So that's what I want people to think about me as, because that encompasses what it is that I do. I work with SAP partners, I help them with marketing. So I want to be positioned as the go-to person to help SAP partners in that area. Okay? And then think about what is your core message. If you had to articulate that particular product, service, offering that you have in 4 or 5 words, what would it be? I'm going to give you another example. I am what's known as a duct tape marketing consultant. I work with the duct tape marketing materials, and I pay a licensing fee to utilize and deliver these materials to you. Now, there are lots and lots of other people out there who are also duct tape marketing consultants. And we have a way of articulating what duct tape marketing consultants do. Now, it's a little bit different for me because unlike the rest of the consultants, I don't charge a fee for doing what I do. SAP pays my salary, and then I use those skills, those materials to work with you as SAP partners. But if I was a traditional duct tape marketing coach, I might explain it like this. What do I do for a living? I install small business marketing systems. Okay, so immediately that's different. I install small business marketing system. What's a marketing system? So that's immediately got you thinking. How do you do that in a unique way? I've developed a 7-step marketing system that allows any business to systematically deliver predictable results. Is that something that you might want? Do you want a systematic way of delivering predictable results? Possibly you do. The positioning goal that I would like to have as a duct tape marketing coach is to be thought of as the world's or one of the world's most practical small business marketing experts. That's how I want to think about people to think about me as if I'm a duct tape marketing coach. And then the core message for what I do as a duct tape marketing coach is that I deliver simple, effective, and affordable small business marketing, or simple, effective, and affordable business marketing. So the only reason why I talk about that is not to promote duct tape marketing and not to promote being a duct tape marketing coach or a consultant, but just to give you an example of how that works in something that's outside our industry might make it a little bit easier for you to identify and think about how it is that you're going to position your organization. So hopefully you've now been able to go through and think about the answers to those questions and think about how you position your organization, how you explain what it is that you do in a way that makes sense to your target market, that makes them go, how do you do that? Gee, I'd like to learn more about that. Explain to me specifically how you do what it is that you do, because you've got something that I want. So some action steps at the end of this session that I'd like you to take. First and foremost, you need to make sure you can answer that question, what do you do for a living, in a way that does elicit that response from your prospect, okay, or your target customer. You then need to have a supplemental answer, and remember the supplemental answer is how do you do that? So what do you do for a living and how do you do that? Now it could well be that, you might say, I help mid-sized businesses get greater visibility into their operations. That's a little bit wishy-washy, I know. You need to probably have something a little bit more sharper than that, but you might say, I help mid-sized businesses get greater visibility into their operations. I do that by implementing business intelligence solutions from SAP that allow my customers to identify key areas in their business that need proactive responses and enables them to take action in those key areas. So again, just an example. You also then need to come up with that positioning goal. How do you want your target market to think of you? How do you want them to when they think about your organization, when they think about the value that you deliver, what do you want them to think about that value as being related to? And then, of course, your core message. What is the one paragraph, one sentence way of explaining what it is that you provide? And it could well be, in the example I gave, business intelligence systems that provide insight and clarity, or business intelligence solutions for insight and clarity. All right, a simple way of encapsulating down what it is that you do. So that's the end of our session 2. You've got some activities, you've got some actions you need to take. So I look forward to seeing you in session 3. If you take care of those actions, if you go through those areas in your workbooks, you'll find that you'll be well equipped to move into our 3rd session. And of course, as always, if you're struggling, one thing you need to do, drop me an email, richard.duffy@sap.com. Pick up the phone and give me a ring. Reach out to me via Twitter or Facebook or via my website. I'm more than happy to help you out. And I look forward to talking with you in session 3.